Hey guys, Boston25 here playing FSX once again. Today, we will be flying a BA, which is British Airways, 777, I'm not sure what the actual, the full thing, from London Heathrow to Hong Kong International. This is not Kai Tak, by the way, we're not flying to Kai Tak. Just, let's get that right off, let's make sure we all understand that. Okay, I don't know what that was. So, views. Instrument panel. That thing. These doors won't open for some reason. Wait, we can set the cargo to close so they will load the cargo. Let's turn off catering. Let's close these doors, and you should have fucked off. I thought I told them to close door 1 as well. Actually, I'll keep GSE 1 on, because that might be useful. And if I hit tow on... Yes, it works! Alright, so that will tell it to just kind of wait there. I don't know what that is. Does that just tell it to feck off? Or no, that tells it to park. Okay. Alright, so the runway. I'm going to tune ATIS so that I can figure out where I'm going, like what runway. What is that? What heading are we at? 272. So if it's runway 27, it's that way. Like, if it's runway 27, we need to go that way. Runway 27. Well, just like I said. 27 left and 27 right. Okay. Hey, I didn't tell you to throttle up. Alright, just tune Heathrow ground. Alright. Shift P2. And turn off the parking brake. I love how we've got this combination vehicle. Yeah, we're going to shred that guy with our engines. And we just ran over that guy. Yep, say goodbye, because you're going through some spinny turbine things. Okay, this one doesn't appear to... Wait. I think it just can't turn because it's on pushback mode. Right, so what we're going to do is we're going to head off beside that runway. And then go down along it. And then turn on. And then off we pop to Hong Kong. Oh, this one does not have a tail strike prevention thing. I wouldn't call it a tail strike prevention gear. Why the fuck are you not turning the aircraft? Aircraft fully functional. Alright. Control surfaces fully functional. Get ready to stop the pushback. And stop the pushback. Now what I'm going to do is click Views, Instrument Panel, Passenger Tail, turn off the tow because we don't need it. Because we're no longer let's see. Does this thing have rear wheel steering? Yes, it does. I don't know why those little things, like, why does that really so... I have no idea what that thing is that's sticking up there. What it says here is that the APU is on, I think. I don't know. Hold on, just click on that. Does that... Yeah, FP loaded. Okay. So thank God that I don't have to input anything. Or Allah, or whoever you worship. I'm personally an atheist. It doesn't matter. Taxi, strobe, blah blah blah. Well, seatbelts I can't do anything about. But anyway, off we go. Off we go. I'm presuming that's part of the APU assembly. The little sticky uppy thing. I'm going to actually zoom out and switch over to locked spot actually, because I prefer the locked spot. So what we're going to do is we're going to get on the taxiway that goes right alongside the runway, and then we're going to basically reach takeoff speed on that runway. Also, we might get a pop-up because that means my previous video is finished editing. That's a lot of things. I should do that. Yeah, even have the reversers. Those are big engines, I'll tell you that. Why could it not be that runway that's in use? Oh, come on. Right, never mind. Slew. It's going to be winding on
taxiway. On taxiway.
What did I tell you?
On taxiway. On taxiway.
That's the runway that is in use. So... Says 27 left. That's
on runway 09 right 200 feet remaining flaps
okay.
Flaps on runway 27 left flaps on runway 27 left flaps.
Let's set flaps to takeoff setting. That guy better not cross the runway in front of us. Hit the brakes. I have auto throttle armed, and yeah, that was the video. Finishing editing. No, let the engine spool up. Oh my god, you idiot! I could just as easily have taken off and murdered you. Can I still hold back? Nope, no point. We're at full power. We are accelerating. You can see the wingtips lifting up already, and we're barely moving. Now we're going to be making some small adjustments. More yaw than roll, because if we roll, then that causes big problems. Big problems. Right, how are we doing? What's our speed? Right, okay. You idiot! Right, V1. Rotate. V2. That's so cool that it actually has that. That's amazing in my opinion. Gear up, flaps up. That's just so cool. It's like V1, okay. VR, which I'm presuming stands for velocity for rotation or rotation velocity. Alright, VNav. And yeah, I do want to ascend at 3,000 feet per minute. Oh yeah, I need to turn on the autopilot first. There we go. Alley-oop. There we go. We probably almost clipped some poor bastards down there. It was quite a low takeoff. There we go, that is a steep ascent. I still have no idea what castle that is. It reminds me kind of Windsor Castle, but I don't think that's that close to Heathrow, so... I know, I'll just check. Real quick. Until then, enjoy... Oh crap, no. I don't... You don't need to know that I installed a Cathay Pacific mod. There's another airport there. Right. Maps. Your altimeter is set incorrectly. No, it's set correctly. In terms of speed, we're doing okay. Right. Let's find Heathrow and then go up along that runway, so hold on. Dum-de-dum. Actually, I remember Sir Richard Branson recently made a video in an A350 because said we're going on, well, they were flying from Gatwick to Farnborough. We're going on the long and grueling flight from Gatwick to Farnborough, which is about 7 minutes. So, you know, right, there's Heathrow. I see Heathrow, and I think if this would load, then I could figure out where. Okay, by the looks of it, there's one less runway. Okay, you can shut up. So I took off from runway 27 left. But in... No, that's 09 left, so... Well, then again, that means I just have to... That would be this runway I took off from then. Alright, you can see T5 is not in there yet. I'm zooming out. Well, it actually... Yeah, I think that is actually Windsor Castle. Like, Old Windsor... I think, yeah, that might have been Windsor Castle. Like, that there might... This might be Windsor Castle. Because, yeah, that's the reservoir, one of them. Windsor Castle. There's a 737 descending into Heathrow. There's a CRJ descending into some other airport. Learjet. Doop. Yep. Well, this is the guy that I saw descending into Heathrow. Yeah, altimeter is set incorrectly. There you go, reset. Boom. Oh, he bounced. And there you go, he's down. Let's see if the CRJ has landed yet. Nope. So there's Windsor Castle. Yep, that is Windsor Castle. That we just flew kind of over. What is interesting is kind of how long of, say, a train ride it is from London, and then, you know, you take off from Heathrow and there you are, you're over it within less than a minute. That was quite a hard landing, mate. Thing is, I don't know which airport this is. What the frack? Well, I'm surprised we haven't stalled. Right, VNAV off, gun the bloody engine, drop the bloody nose, and stall prevention. Stall prevention. We were below V2. Right. VNAV. Vertical speed of maybe 1,000. You know, maybe you can do that. We are about to turn to the right, so... Oh, hold on. Oh, hold on. Oh, son of a corgi. Yeah, there's London City. There's the... I think that's the O2 it's called, or U2. I'm not sure if it's O2 or U2. There's Canary Wharf. There are a lot of buildings there. St. Paul's. There's the London Eye, the Houses of Parliament. Buckingham Palace is there. I have no idea what that big bloody building there is. Or that, you know. I've been to London, but I don't remember a lot of the things. Well, there's the... Wait, no, that's the... Wait, what? I'm confused. I am honestly confused now. There's the Gherkin. Yeah, there's Tower Bridge, which is not actually over a rift in the universe. And the Tower of London. Okay, we can ascend faster. Yep, TCAS off. If I could turn that on, I would. But I can't. Oh god. Yeah, altimeter set incorrectly. Jesus Christ. Right, we're turning to the right. Okay guys, well anyway, I'll pause this video here and I'll see you guys once we are closer to Hong Kong. I'll quickly just turn off the taxi and landing lights because I forgot to do that. Okay guys, see you once we're close to Hong Kong. Okay guys, you can see it's almost sunset. I'll show you where we are at the moment. Right, we're about to cross a... Wait, what? And we're passing to a region/time zone, I believe. But we are still flying in Russia, and then we'll fly into Mongolia. Okay guys, see ya once you approach Hong Kong Airport or Sunrise, whichever comes first. Okay guys, we're beginning our descent into Hong Kong by descending to 30,000 feet. Also, the game crashed several times. So I'm actually flying from somewhere in China. Come on, don't it's me. Where's the throttle quadrant? Let's run say 64. What happened there? I see the camera is kind of really close to the aircraft. I don't know why that is, and I don't know how to fix it. So sorry about that. And why is it just setting itself to Mach? I want it to maintain 290 knots. Should require further extension of the speed brake, followed by a bit of retracting. Because we are almost at the planet. Hold on. So this aircraft is powered by General Electric engines. Right, so come on, slowly begin. Retracting, and also shut up warning system. Yep. So if I set it to say armed, there, what does that mean? Does that mean they're ready to deploy if we were to hit the ground or something? Okay guys, we're going to descend further to 24,000 feet. $24,000 feet. Vertical speed negative 3,000 feet. Also, shut up, caution warning thing. Say it's sunrise right about now. If you can see, we are approaching Hong Kong Airport. It's actually quite close to Macau. You can see right there is where the bay is at, which Hong Kong is situated. Now, these things are still non-responsive, but they don't need to be responsive. So you can see flight time is only 2 hours, whereas that it would be almost 12. Here's a tiller, which is what is used to control only the nose wheel and not the rudder. But see, what is that? The thing is, this one doesn't have that glitch where you can see the cockpit. Is that maybe only because of the black texture on the all black texture on the other aircraft? Wait, hold on. Right, options, simulation rate. 2 times speed. We're almost at our altitude. Okay, we're still slowing down. Caution warning. Let's retract the spoilers a bit. I'm going to retract them completely. Just have the speed brakes set time. Right. Acknowledge, pause, 12,000. The thing is, at lower altitudes you're not supposed to descend that quickly. With this, you kind of have to. Otherwise you're not going to have time to maintain. You're not going to have time to you're not going to have time to land. So basically, if you're even slightly too high, like for example me when I was approaching Narita, there is no time, and I like to have some time. Pull this up a bit. So that's going to be the point where we hit 14, no, 12,000. Okay. That's just me making sure everything. Alright, pause. Unpause. So what? Turn left heading 115. Expect ILS runway 25 right approach. Acknowledge. Heading select. So recently there was an aircraft flying still not responsive, huh? There was an aircraft. Yeah, Hong Kong airport is somewhere, I think. Yep, it's on that island there, that little artificial island. It's quite a large artificial island. So for those of you who are wondering, no, we're not, as I said at the start of the flight, we are not flying to Kai Tak. Because even in FSX, Kai Tak, there's nothing there. There's a runway, a few taxiways, that is it. Because Kai Tak, it doesn't exist anymore. I don't just mean, it's decommissioned and now it's an empty airport. It's not an empty airport. There is literally nothing there. Of the old Kai Tak, there's, maybe a few bits of runway. But that's it. Even in real life, it's more of a harbour now. They use the runway extension as a whatchamacallit. They use that to make it easier. They converted that to a harbour with cranes and the lot. Right, we're leveling out. It is a fun fact for people who aren't too familiar with China. Everywhere, all of China is in the same time zone. Did I turn off auto throttle? No. Just bring it completely in. I'm retracting them, and these engines are spooling up while we still descend. So ZG as said. I do believe this might be actual Hong Kong, but we're not actually visible yet, and we haven't descended far enough for me to turn on the. Right, I'm going to be in contact with it. I think it's called Guangzhou or Guangzhou Center. You can see the sun is just barely up at the moment. That's another aircraft. Surprisingly, it's not as busy as I would have expected. Yep, this is definitely the airport. 737 Skyhawk MD. No, wait, this is Macau, actually. 737-800. Ah, this is Hong Kong. Some airports they make them more realistic. Like, you know, this is what they want you to see, kind of, these beautiful buildings. What happened here? Seriously. Is it just because I'm not close enough or something? Yeah, hold on. Shift A. Yeah, there you can see that, for example, like, you know, over here it's not as spectacular. Right, no. Let's watch this MD-80. Okay, there's 3. So, cockpit. Yep, they haven't told me to do anything, so. Sure, let's watch this guy take. So let's just watch this guy take off from Macau. You know, well, a lot less, you know, detailed version of Macau, at least. Fun fact: there are still MD-80s flying, and there are still 717s, 727s, 737-200s. They are operated by several airlines. They're still operated by several airlines. What is that there? Okay, does this also have a little tail strike prevention? Yeah, at least a tail strike damage reduction strip. Oh god. See, these aircraft weren't meant for player use. So you know, this game was released on Steam in 2006, so it's 10 years old. And for a 10-year-old game, it definitely holds up. For an over 10-year-old game, it certainly holds up. You know, maybe X-Plane 10 is more realistic. Alright, descend and maintain 4,500. Acknowledge. 4,500. Vertical speed negative 3,000. Oh, boom. Yep, air traffic. The MD-83. I want to see this take off. I wanted to do a flight just to test out from Hong Kong to Macau. Well, actually, no, I wanted to do that in a video. Just wondering, because both of those airports are interesting, and then I realized that would just be taking off and then landing again, pretty much. I mean, I think you can go. It's not too busy. You and one more aircraft are the only aircraft in this area. But it seems, you know, this area seems to like they seem to like building artificial islands or stuff like that. Because if you look at all these, you know, they are all on artificial islands. Pacific Airlines. Well, I guess this is the Pacific region. I was going to gun this. Air traffic. Right, okay, we didn't miss anything. He's just beginning his takeoff roll. Good question. Why is the intake raised? Is there any reason for that? We just mentioned these type of aircraft are easier to ditch, or they are better for ditching, because you know they don't have the engines on the bottom of the wing acting like giant scoops, which would cause drag and, you know, cause the nose to drop down and smash into the water. See, there's the other taxi, and he's up, almost a tail strike. Alright, his gear coming in. Okay. Are we just not turning now? This guy just gets stuck at 146. We're still turning, man. Wait, I need to turn on the landing lights. I don't know what I turn off. Oh wait, we're flying with the spoilers deployed. Huh. There you go. Problem solved. Because we won't be doing much descending once you set the speed brake to armed. Terminate heading 165. Acknowledge. Oh, alright, so we are slowly turning to get aligned. What is this? I'm talking about the logo. That's on quite a few BA planes. GZZZC. That's too many Z's. Or Z's. Or call them whatever the f you want. I don't care. I'm not going to tell you how you can how you want to set it. Or how you want to say it. Right. And once they tell us what stuff we have to be at, like what heading, approach, that type of thing I will begin studying that. But recently there was I'm not sure what airline. It was a Chinese airline, right? Hong Kong approach. I think this is where we get approach clearance. Let's see. Oh yeah. They were approaching Hong Kong, but had to go around because there was either another aircraft landing, or an aircraft taking off. Making sure my tablet's charging for Farnborough. It's getting charged for Farnborough, and it's being. Are we really heading in that direction? No. Why is it just 1-2 degrees short or off? You know. But anyways, right. World map. Okay, that's actually old. That's Hong Kong old. That's Kai Tak. That's one everyone hates. I've landed there, no problem. 747. Well, you know, no problem. That wasn't the smoothest of landings for, you know, obvious reasons. Yeah, so there was a Chinese aircraft, or a Chinese, like a Chinese Airlines aircraft. Right, you're 30 miles. Hold on. Well, the Chinese government really don't want me to tell this story, eh? Or at least the ATC doesn't. 225, descend and maintain 4,000. Right, so they were descending, and they had to go around. And on the island next to the artificial island on which this, like, they had to turn right, and they were approaching from the opposite direction we are. So they had to go around. They go around, and they turned right. Okay. They turned right, flew over this island. The highest point of the island is, I think, 3,000 feet. And the and there's a statue of Buddha near the peak that is 2,500 feet high. So it almost collided, and some hikers climbing up there, climbing up to the Buddha, or, you know, up that mountain, or island, or whatever you want to call it. There's I think it's like after a certain altitude, you know, there's Hong Kong. So basically, it almost crashed into the Buddha statue, and some hikers took a photo of the plane where the markings were clearly visible. So, like, it was almost like that. So, you might actually get a view of Kai Tak, almost an old Hong Kong. Oh yeah, I forgot to actually begin slowing down. Slow down to 175. Nope, we can't do that. No, like, nope, flaps 1, nuh-uh. Nuh-uh. Can I do it now? Yeah, just about. I can just about do it. Oh, wait. Oh, so... JB Pang... Right, so up. Now, So that's 1. So does that mean I hit it again? Okay, that's cool. That's cool. Okay, I like this. I don't know what ref is, though. Wait, it's at 15 now. No, mate. No. No. Mate. No, back up. Just flap level 5. 15. $20. That's what we're going for. Yeah, 20. We're sticking at 20. Hey, what are you doing? You're going to stall the aircraft. So Kai-Tak is there, actually. So we're flying almost right over Kai-Tak. Yeah, VHHH. That's what we're going for. Okay, also, just request airport direction. Yeah, we are pitched up quite a lot. This is landing. This is, the recommended flap setting for landing. 17 miles, so we're still 17 miles away. Thing is, I can't pull off the flaps. I mean, this, at this speed, these flaps. Let's go gear down. Gear down and locked by the looks of it. So you can see Kai-Tak. So you can see why it was difficult. Because, there's a city there, there's a mountain here. You couldn't exactly fly in over the mountain. So what they had to do was either fly in from the sea, or fly in like this and then turn onto that runway. But that wasn't very useful. Oh, son of a corgi. Oh wait, yeah, this one, I can just do this. There we go. And after a while it just disables. So we're going for the right runway. Oh god. Let's level out. And I want the rear facing camera. Oh Jesus. Alright. No, because I don't actually. The thing is, I don't actually need a shut up warning. So, they almost crashed into that mountain there. That's where the Buddha statue is. So we're going to turn. In terms of altitude, we definitely want to slow down. We're descending way too quickly than we should be. The thing is, this approach I can only do basically to maintain a visual of the runway, which is the only way I have to guide this aircraft in. There's Hong Kong, there's Kai-Tak. Turn. No, pitch up. You can't take your hand off the joystick for 1 second. This is a very fidgety aircraft. The bloody auto throttle doesn't even work properly. There we go. Maintaining altitude. Because we are too low. And now altitude's decreasing. Bloody brilliant. Also, you guys better give me landing clearance shortly. Oh, so FSX didn't bother to model in the Buddha statue. I wonder with the speed brake armed. Is that... Hold on, am I on a glide slope now? Or is it kind of... still a bit too low. Yeah, let's see. I would sidestep, which is doing kind of that. Anyway, sidestep works is kind of... There we go. Clear to land, runway 25 right. Also, you have aircraft throttle control. So I'm sorry, as I said, the camera is locked in this mode. Okay, we're a bit too high, so let's descend a bit further. Right, ideal height. Now, what is this? This is an actual island. Yep, FSX didn't bother to model in the Buddha statue. Repairs, right, too low. Oh wait, yep, too low. As I said, right on right, you're high as a kite. Right on right, you're alright. Right on right, we're all dead. Throttle back, because I don't actually know my airspeed. 170, yep, that's a speed I would like to
Approaching 25 right.
But that's the airport we're supposed to be, or airport, that's the runway we're supposed to be approaching. And it would definitely take some skill to approach the wrong airport. But it has happened several times. For example, the Delta flight landed on Air Force Base 10 miles away. So, quite close, too low, pitch up. Those are the immigration facilities to our left. Keep the nose up. There we go. There we go, down. And there we go. Yep, no ABS on this vehicle. This aircraft. Right, speed brakes in. Yeah, if that was the next taxi we were talking about saying, then I couldn't have made it. And turn the landing lights off because they're bright as heck. Flaps up. Those are the airport terminals. The thing is, I don't know the actual name of this airport. So everyone knows SkyTac. Turn next. Roger. I'm turning next taxiway. I think shortly they should. Right, contact ground on 121.6. Knowledge ground handoff. Shooting Hong Kong ground. Request taxi to the gate. Yes, I do request taxi to the gate. Echo 16 using taxiway Alpha 6 Alpha Alpha H Bravo 7 Bravo 9. Acknowledge taxi clearance, turn on progressive taxi. Can a 777 make that turn? Keep moving. That's the thing with this aircraft. You keep slowing down. As it slows, I progressively push the throttle up to higher and higher settings, till eventually the engines are roaring at full power. There we go. Full turn. Come on. Right, so this will be a long, straight stretch of taxiway. So we will be able to do my tactic of gun it, and then pray that we'll stop. This thing will soon start yelling at me that I'm
on taxiway. On taxiway.
What did I say? Right, engines off. Spawners up. Passengers, I think, I mean. We're not moving nearly half of takeoff speed, but we're moving over twice taxi speed. This is all just a demonstration. Oh, nearly took out that sign. Have lower signs. Yes, we will make a vision for that. Have signs that do not get in the way of aircraft engines. Has it ever happened that an aircraft's engine just hit a sign? Okay, one of these signs. That's actually a serious question. I'm not asking that as a joke. I'm genuinely curious. It was a decent landing, I think. If I'm just taxiing away. Right, this is my turn. This is my turn off. I'm turning here. Yeah, I think we won't get a jetway, but that's okay. I mean, we've got stairs. This is a British Airways aircraft, so this ain't no right airplane. Because, you know, low-cost airlines usually fly. Hold on, that's an interesting gear mechanism. Got it. Come on. Hold position, caution other traffic. What other traffic? Well, not hold position, but I'm gonna keep moving. I will hold position, but there's no traffic. Continue taxi. See what I mean? Acknowledge continue taxi. This is an artificial island. It's quite close to the shore. So yeah, there's no Buddha statue there. See, remember seeing, I've talked about that island, I just said that that is an actual island. What could that be used for? Because I saw that, what was on it? That's at almost every airport. Is that the ILS beacon? Or something? You know, I don't know how these things work. Oh, we might actually have a jetway. For an aircraft that is labelled heavy. For me, that's quite a first. That's good, because not all the bloody doors open. Maybe what I'll just do is I won't technically open that door. I'll just open the other door and have that, have people there be walking off. So I'm noticing this aircraft does not have any overwing exits. I'm presuming the reason for that is it's not necessary for this aircraft. Yeah, but soon only A340s will be the only quad-engined jets operating to and from St. Martin. So remember all those beautiful shots of 747s landing? That will all be fiction. That will all be the past very soon. Right, call on the jetway. What is that jetway doing? Anyway, views, passkey. Well, an engine is not started. Yes, that is true. Well done. I don't know what that is. Is it instrument panel? Oh, that's debug. Whoops. I'm not sure if that's going into the right place. That's okay. I know ways of dealing with that. Come on. That's what I need. go. Oh, Christ's sakes, I don't need the cargo guy. So, right, that thing has arrived. And cargo. Basically unloading the cargo. Door 3 open. We don't need catering or tow. Stairs off, then just open door 1. So the main exit has opened. Can I just kind of slew back? Just slightly. Like that. Yes, I can. So anyways, guys, that was a flight from Heathrow to Hong Kong. I'm Bosch 25. Goodbye.